This Choircast podcast is brought to you by Heretic 2 by Matthew J. DiStefano. Ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about faith? In Heretic 2, I dive into LGBTQ affirmation, rejecting divine violence, and embracing universalism in a bold post-Christian perspective. If you're done with outdated dogma and want a justice-oriented, inclusive view of spirituality, then this book is for you. Get Heretic 2 wherever books are sold and start rethinking faith today.
Welcome to the UnBelief podcast, your journey, actually our journey together beyond inherited beliefs to a spirituality that works for you. I'm your host, Jeremy. I'm a deep skeptic, also a pastor. We can fix that later, right? No? Damn. All right, so this is episode 0. It's not really a real episode. It's one of those meta episodes about the podcast that you're going to probably skip and listen to the actual thing. But I always feel like it's important to answer this question, like, why another podcast? There's so many podcasts that are around. And, why would we do a podcast that we would call UnBelief? So I've been a skeptic my whole life. I've been asking questions, and really, what being a skeptic means to me is that you're constantly asking questions and you're not assuming that the answers that you have are right. You're always incorporating new data. You're always trying to figure out what's going on. And for me, that sort of operates where the stronger one of my beliefs is, the stronger the evidence has to be to challenge it and to make me kind of let go of that belief. Although even strongly held beliefs are often tweaked and altered as new data comes in. Basically, when I think about it, what I'm saying is my answers to all the questions, my beliefs are always negotiable. But I grew up in evangelical Christianity, and through some random wrinkle in this particular timeline that we exist in, I ended up as a pastor, and that's weird. I get it. A lot of people think it's strange that I'm a pastor, partially because I'm never 100% sure that God exists, and there's many days that I'm sure God doesn't exist. And over the years, I've been on my own journey, and I can use the word journey. Actually, I'm obligated to because I have more than 100,000 followers on a social media network. But I've been on this journey of figuring out what it means to be a deep skeptic and also a spiritual person. And it's weird and hard. It's weird and hard and actually sometimes really isolating as the more confident people, the people who are more confident in what they believe, end up sidelining me, ignoring me. But the other thing that I've discovered along the way is that there are a lot of people like me. I mean, if I can be so presumptuous, there's a lot of people like us. But in the world of super spiritual people like us are often silenced. Our questions go unanswered or unheard, unlistened to, all of the things. And I think that's why over 100,000 people have followed me on TikTok, because I just show up there as who I am. A deep skeptic who is also a pastor. And that's what's going to happen here. And in fact, the reason that I'm making this podcast at all is because the skeptic pastor community asked for it. Over and over, people keep commenting, keep DMing and saying, hey, could you please do a podcast? Could you do something that's longer, that's really helping us form our beliefs and figure all of this stuff out? And so that's it. So like me, this podcast is going to be different. It's not going to be just about me talking on and on and on about one single thing. We're going to have a couple of different types of episodes, like once a week, because our community has asked for it. I'm going to talk about a sacred text like the Bible and try to explain the ancient culture into which that text was written and how we sort of extricate the truth of that text from the culture. So how we go about like not treating the culture itself as the message and trying to recreate some ancient culture in the modern day, which never works. And instead hear the truth of it and figure out how that truth might make this world better, right? Might help us be the best version of ourselves and find a purpose greater than ourselves. On other episodes, I'm gonna have a drink with someone who is trying to figure out, untangle, unravel their own beliefs and find ones that work for them. And you'll hear this over and over again. When I say beliefs that work for us, I mean spiritual beliefs that help us become the best version of ourselves and beliefs that help us find a purpose greater than ourselves. And these episodes, the episodes where I have a drink with somebody who is processing all of these, are really to help all of us process where we are. Because when we hear the story of somebody else, it helps us understand our story. It helps us understand where we are. And it's not like tips and tricks, but sometimes it is. Sometimes you hear how somebody else worked through something and that helps you do the same thing, sometimes even in the same way. But it's not prescriptive. We're just going to listen to their story and we're going to talk about like where they go from where they are. And then third type of thing that we're going to do here is sit down with scholars, authors, other spiritual people, and to give all of us access to their unique insights into the world of the holy, like the way they enter in all of the things that they've learned and discovered along the way. Yeah, I mentioned this community. So out of the TikTok and the other social media platforms has grown something intentional, something deeper, something that we call Not Church. Not Church is a place where other people like us come together and are there for each other. It's full of people with all kinds of different spiritual labels who are exploring spirituality together, exploring ancient texts together, exploring what it means to unravel all of this sort of homophobic stuff from spiritual texts and from religion. It's full of people who are processing their own stories and religious pain together. One person said, it's like all the things that you want from a church without people telling you that you're going to hell for not believing the right things. So if that's something you like, if you'd like to be part of that kind of community, you can join our Patreon to get access. You can find that at patreon.com/skepticpastor. Patreon.com/skepticpastor. You can pay just a couple bucks a month and it gets you into the Discord where we do all of that and hold space for each other and post some really funny memes every once in a while. But look, we get it. Like church can be boring and painful and has probably hurt you or someone you care about. I get that. Actually, all of us get that. But here's the thing. Engaging with spirituality has been shown over and over again to help you live a life that's less stressed, that's more centered, that's more connected, that like improves all of these metrics. And I don't fully understand exactly why that is, but that's the data. And so that's why we exist. That's why I'm here. There's no judgment here. There's no prescriptions. There's not going to be any ignoring science. Like, we're going to value academic insight, whether it's from cosmologists or theologians. We're going to share what works for us and show up for each other when someone needs a little extra faith. Yeah, and we're not going to ask you to give 10% of your income just to belong. It's really simple here. You get what you pay for, and you can leave whenever you want. Just to be clear, I don't care who you love, who you marry or don't marry. Like, every single person is welcome here because we all need each other. So, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. That's it. That's the podcast. Shout out to the Choir Network, to Patheos, to Matthew and Keith, who make everything happen. Now, get out of here. Go do something to make the world a better place. Okay? We'll see you next time.